Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the CantinaMX podcast, edition number 127, in our third year of podcasting, I suppose, and broadcasting here on the CantinaMX podcast channel on YouTube. We do this every Thursday night, usually around 9:30 ish. You know, a very liberal interpretation of the time 9:30, as I'm sure most of you know. And then, of course, you can listen to this and the previous editions of the CantinaMX podcast, all 126 episodes if you want. You can download those off of iTunes and also from Google Play. So happy to have you aboard with us tonight. Please join us on the chat. They're on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, very, very active on Facebook. And we're also active on Twitter, even though our usual Twitter is on vacation. We have been getting some good stuff on the Twitter this week, and we appreciate y'all participating with that as well. Well, let's get on with it. My name is John Jagu. Glad to have you aboard with us, joining us from the OC. Are we allowed to call it the OC, Hood? Can outsiders call it the OC? I'm sure insiders will call it the OC.
I'm not even sure, John. I'm new to the area.
Yeah. Well, Joel Aceves joins us
I don't know the rules yet.
From Orange County, California. Joel, how are you, sir?
But I'm actually in South LA right now.
Oh, you're back in South LA.
Ya comenzando mal. No, I'm not. Well, just for tonight.
Oh, I understand. So, Joel, I do have a question for you, and I want to get right to it. I think that the Lady Águila wants to say something to you.
Primero que nada, hay que felicitar a Chivas porque ganaron bien. La neta, hay que dejarnos de tonterías.
It's not, and she's absolutely right. I mean, not only did they win, but they won convincingly with, frankly, as stylish a win as a Mexico team has gotten in that competition in years.
The 3Gs.
They did. They improved their Chivas TV 56K network, which they had going for a while. With Chivas TV, but last night they opened up the 3G. They 3G'd Seattle Sounders. They scored 3 goals, and what we mean by the 3G is, well, Joel, you tell them what we mean.
It's the Mexican soccer standard of excellence. Golear, gustar y ganar, or you can say it any other way.
And that's
gustar y golear, whichever you.
And that's pretty much exactly what they did. They had to win. They had to win by at least 2 goals, in case Seattle put one in the net to give them the away goal advantage. And Chivas was able to get the first goal early in the second half. They got the second goal, I think, like 5 minutes later. Chofis made an outstanding play, and then they got their third goal with about 10 minutes from time and kind of iced things. And Chivas let Liga MX save a little face, because the previous night 2 of their teams had been eliminated in the quarterfinals. One not necessarily shocking, and I think the other one, I don't know how much you can, we can say that the Tigres result against MLS was quote unquote shocking either. It's 2 good teams playing, and Tigres did not have luck on their side at all.
They did have Nahuel, John. Nahuel seems to be a luck repellent.
He made some pretty rough plays. The one on the
free kick, man.
Well, yeah, that one was reminded me of Chuy Corona against Pirlo in the 2013 Confederations Cup. Although to his credit, at least he actually tried. Actually put his hand on it. Chuy just dove and just watched it go by. Wouldn't even put his hand on it. But
man, it looked like he was just caressing the ball as
right.
He went in.
It was a hell of a good shot by Jovinko, who by all accounts is probably, I think without dispute, the best player in MLS. I don't think anybody doubts that. And he had a hand in both of Toronto's Toronto's goals that they got and needed to get because it proved to be the tiebreaker on the 4-4 aggregate. One on an own goal, which was just the most painful kind of own goal you could possibly score. The one that happens in slow mo. It's one thing to quickly deflect it into the net, but this one was a slow roller that just everyone was. It was like watching a fumble be fumbled, out of the end zone. In American football, there's just painful roller into the back of the net on an own goal off of Carioca. And to Tigres' credit, I know that they were devastated with the result, but they did as came back as much as it could, and I would say that the time ran out on them. But the reality is that for Tigres, after all their talk about how great the Volcan is and their fans and this and that, I mean, you cannot allow anybody, much less Toronto FC, much less Chiapas, to Monterrey or America to get a win in that stadium in a tournament like that. So, and what it sets up now is Toronto going up against Club America in the one semifinal, and America again had no problem dispatching their rival Tauro. They won 3-1 down in Panama. And Tijuana was the other game that I mean they just they could not have played worse, I think, at Tijuana, in the sense that again a team that was unlucky for them, and then they just completely capitulated and let the New York Red Bulls score three goals on them to take the tie on a 5-1 aggregate. That's you can't. There's no amount of lipstick you can put on that turd. I mean, that is a spanking. That is just a full on whipping.
We could add a bit of. We could add a little bit, John. Just a little concealer, and that is that a lot of the players that were in the squad that qualified aren't the ones at the current team.
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, we can say this. We can say the same. As far as Chivas, well, last year they were champions, and now they're in 17th place. So how could Seattle Sounders let a team that's in 17th place beat them? They're the defending MLS champions. I'm being dead serious.
No, well, for the Bounders, yeah. I also got to add, I think they were missing about 4 players.
Well, yeah, they were missing a big one in Nicolás Lodeiro, who was injured.
Yeah, that's a big.
And Jordan Morris wasn't there. He's out for the year with a torn ACL. So Seattle does have some injury concerns. There's no question. I mean, it was a team that was not at full strength, and then they lost the guy during the match as well. But back to Tijuana though. I mean, I do understand what you're saying, but that's just how these tournaments are played out.
Yeah.
And I don't. Now, do I think that the Red Bulls were 5 goals better than Tijuana? In the first match, and and their coach even said so. He said we didn't score. Not only did we not score, but we let them score, and because of that, I mean they were rowing against the current. This entire team. Now they got the 1 goal, and then they had a couple of really good chances to get the second goal to equalize to equalize things. But again, they were just unlucky. It just they a couple of shots hit posts, and at that point, it was only the Red Bulls took their shots, they absorbed them, and then they just went out and did what they had to do, and they did it convincingly. And I think that that each tie I think is winnable by all 4 teams with Red Bulls and Chivas on one side and Toronto and America on the other. I don't think that there's one extremely super dominant team in this of the 4 teams that are left. I think it's I would probably give America of the 4 teams that are left, the one that would be the probably the favorite to win the whole thing. And but it wouldn't shock me at all if Toronto won. So if Toronto then and if Toronto does that, and then they win, and say they beat Chivas or whoever it is they beat in the final, I mean, then you got to tip your hat off to them. I mean, that's an impressive run to get to the Conca Champions, to beat Tigres and then to beat America and then whoever else in the final. Worthy champions, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the cup's been fun with the changes and the way it's played out. It's made for some some good talk, and the organizers are pretty much hoping for a Clásico Nacional final. I think that would even help the cup even more.
Well,
So,
there is a
I would
television
like to
station.
see that as well.
There's a television station here in the United States called Univision that would be begging for a Clásico Nacional final in the Coca Champions. And chances are, I would say it's about a 60% chance that it happens. I think America has more of a possibility to make the final than Chivas. But
Yeah.
Chivas to me, Joel, is the kind of team that the minute they figure it out and they start playing one and the goals start coming, look out, because that's a team that has guys that can score. It's not a team that's going to they don't have like the 6'4" striker where how they're going to attack you. They have a plethora of offensive players, and if a couple of those guys get on a hot streak, then Chivas has a really good chance to win this whole thing.
Yeah, and that's, I think, this is the one tournament that the club has left to rescue the season. So I think they're gonna put everything now into it. You know, they just brought in De Anda to try to, straighten the ship. Rumor was Almeida had released his reins, had gotten somewhat soft there.
And how great does it look for CONCACAF that they have four of the most important cities in the Confederation's footprint. Toronto up in Canada, New York, for goodness sake, Mexico City, and Guadalajara. So you have four major markets. Four of so that will certainly help help. And this is what this tournament ultimately is going to be all about. And once we start roping in the South American teams, which is coming, I think it's coming. Then this part of the world could have just a really kick-ass tournament. It should be a lot of fun. So Chivas wins, Joel. They beat Sounders 3-0. They needed to win. They need to score two. They got the two. The first one on a superb free kick by Osvaldo Alanis, who celebrated the victory by not being called up to the Mexico national team. And then, as we had mentioned earlier, Chofis scores just a sensational goal where he literally walked the ball into the net. Is the way he ended up scoring. And then the youngster Godinez scoring on a back heel, which is exactly how Toronto had gotten their go-ahead goal in Toronto last week against Tigres, where their Osorio did a little mini backflip as well, and that put the ball in the net in the 88th minute, and so it sealed. To me, again, Joel, I always feel like if you have luck on your side when it's a somewhat even matchup, you're going to win. And to Toronto, with that play, a couple of bounces that went the way that they did, not only for them to score goals, but for them to avoid getting scored on last week. And then this weekend, that always helps. That always helps to have lady luck on your side. And like I said, when it's even, you need an intangible like that, and that's how Toronto was able to, in my opinion, take things.
Who hasn't had luck on their side, John?
Who's that, Joel?
It's your Pumas, man. Their luck isn't completely out, because they're in ninth place.
There's only one thing.
Too far from the.
There's only one thing I can say about my Pumas, Joel.
Somebody call 911.
It's rough,
Yeah.
I watched the second half of their Copa MX game yesterday against Necaxa, where Necaxa was with down to 10 men since like the minuto 20, right? Pumas is up 1-0. They're attacking Necaxa much like Chivas was, just relentless. But there's always some schlub who thinks that he needs to make the extra pass, so he doesn't shoot. Whatever it was, they just or they finally get a shot off, and it goes 80 yards over the net. So they lost. They lost Nico Castillo again last night to another ankle injury, and then they lost the game after being up 1-0 to Necaxa, who was down to 10 men, scored 2 goals in the last 15 minutes to win the game. And they ended up. I've never seen Nacho Ambriz dance and jump around so much. I mean, you thought that he'd won the World Cup. He was ecstatic.
Pumas is currently on a 5-match winless streak. You have to go back to February 9th when they beat Morelia.
Oh
my at Morelia. Yeah, and that's after that they went. They lose to Veracruz at home. That's where the pain starts, John.
Well, that's you can't lose to Veracruz. Oh yeah, Joel, what have I done to you? What have I done to you, Joel, that you have to stir up all these?
We have to do the Liga talk because we.
No, I understand.
We don't want to turn it into Chivas Central.
Well, that'll happen later. But you're right.
The season newsletter from the Chivas del Norte guys.
losing to Veracruz is. I mean, you are asking for a fate worse than death when you lose to Veracruz at home, because that is unacceptable, especially when they're wearing purple and neon green. I mean, you cannot allow that.
So that was followed by another big loss, 4-1 away at Tijuana, then a 1-1 draw at home against Chivas, and then. And this, I thought right here, okay, Pumas is going to turn the tide a bit. But then they lost 3-0 to León, that was pretty hurt, pretty bad. And then this past week, another home game defeat, this time against Toluca. And so up next,
another autogol in I was watching like the 83rd minute or whatever it was. It was an autogol. It was like, of all things. And again, a situation where Pumas had their chances, they didn't take them, and it just.
And Pumas start of the season had been so good that despite that bad run, just 5 games, it's quite the run. They're tied in points with Monterrey, who is 8th place. And 7th place TJ is only 16, and 6th place Puebla is 17 points. So
I mean they're only 6 points behind the second place. Like some of that, it has 21. So it's not like it's a complete disaster.
Not too bad, but John. So I think this is to me this is one of those partidos de 6 puntos. They're going up against Cruz Azul, crosstown rival. Cruz Azul's coming from a big win. They finally won at home as well. They hadn't won at home the whole season.
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
That's my new Cruz Azul drop.
But I mean, Cruz Azul has a longer road because even if they won, it will help them get a bit closer, but they'll still be far from not far, but not quite in the top 8. But Cruz Azul really needs to win if they're to get into the playoff race. And we had them as favorites.
We did.
We were thinking they're 3.
And then they go and win 5-0 against Pachuca.
Yeah.
And, so obviously,
Cruz Azul we were expecting.
Obviously, Caixinha listens to the show and goes, "I'll show these punks." Well, because he said it was all because of his coaching that they were able to get the big win. It was all thanks to him. Was what Caixinha said.
So in the last games, Cruz Azul has Pumas. Pumas, you guys go up against Cruz Azul. Then you host Necaxa. And away to Monterrey. You host Puebla. And then you travel to Santos, who are the league leaders right now. And then you host Querétaro. So it's a bumpy ride up ahead, John. I think it's still in their hands.
I have full faith and credit and hope in the ability of Pumas to somehow find a way to screw it up. No, and
Screw it up.
honestly, the fact that Liga MX is going to suspend promotion relegation starting next season for 2 seasons couldn't have come at a better time for Pumas. I mean, they really are the team that is going to. I mean, they are losing. I'm going to look it up here, but they're losing a season. I know that they had one of 35 points, so I think the other one was around 20. So
All right.
Pumas only got 13 points in the last season. So right off the bat, they entered with a 22-point deficit. So Pumas was good. But go ahead.
And for La Máquina, their last games, so they host Pumas, and then they have another crosstown rivalry, and this one is their Coco is up against America at the Azteca, and this to me could be this could signal their, just how good they are.
Sure.
Was the Pachuca a fluke, or is this team getting it? Because America's always been like their breaking point. No matter who the coach was, they would go to that America game and then they would just not win, and then it seems like the red lights would come on again, even if they weren't that bad.
Well,
so yeah,
I don't think.
But then after, you don't think they're going to Liguilla?
I don't think they're going to make the Liguilla.
Oh man. Well, okay. Just to finish their schedule, after the America Clásico, they host Lobos. They travel to Tigres. They host Morelia, and then they finish the season at the Pirates Stadium against the Red Sharks.
That's right. Well, I mean, they're at 11 points right now, so they have to get at least. So they're 5 points behind the eighth place team right now. So that's where.
Well, my thing has them as 4 points.
That's
they have 11 to Monterrey's 15, but that's why that America game to me is gonna be it could be the key, because I think a win, would be so huge for them. Just because they, just what it means, what it has come to mean to play against America. It's been their coco for so long now.
Yeah, it's I just.
Sorry.
What can you say about this? Yeah, it's just. I mean, Cruz Azul could win 3 games in a row, and they would be in terrific shape if that happened. Just can they start their 3 games in a row next week? Not this Saturday. I would be okay with that. So
yeah, and then I'm gonna do a quick recap on my goats. I had done about, let me see, since the Santos game, where was it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I had put like in their last 6 games. I had done like a little mock predictions, and I had put them winning at Lobos. So I got that one right, John. I put that in their next 6 games. Their one win was going to come against Lobos Buap, and they pulled it off.
I'm telling you, Juan, you need to start marketing yourself as a Walter Mercado type.
Yes, that's why I wrote it down in the forum, so it couldn't be like, you're just saying it. It's actually
right.
I wrote it down and I posted it in the public
officially
forum.
On the record.
Yeah, it's on record. So I had them, and yeah, so I pretty much had all the predictions except for the Pumas and America. I had them getting no points. They pulled off 2 points because they drew both, and then I had them winning. Now, yeah, Chivas is end of the season is pretty tough. They pretty much have to win all their games, and they are hosting Tigres. Tigres now. This is it for Tigres, man. You know,
Yeah,
all of
their president pretty much said, "Ganar sí o sí
yeah,
this tournament."
yeah, that's all they have left to play for. So they're gonna put everything's on the toda la carne al asador
That's right.
as far as the Liga comes. And so Chivas is hosting Tigres, and that's let's see how they do, because despite the win over Sounders, I mean, they that was in league. So Chivas has been able to win in the Conca Champions, but they have not won a single match for in league play. So Chivas still looking for that home win in Liga, um, and that's just a hard, a very difficult team to try to get it with. Is Tigres, especially a wounded tiger,
Yeah, they're not going to
it's
be in a
looking
good
to
mood,
strike.
and of course, the Chivas did what Tigres could not at midweek, and I'm sure that's not going to be something that's going to be glossed over. I'm actually a little disappointed in Tigres as far as their Conca champions. Not so much that they lost, but just for their lack of preparation. Do we have to? How many times? Don't we at some point? Is it still cute that these teams, like, they just don't bother scouting and this and that? They've even said as such, like, we had no idea who their players were. Come on, guys, you're in a tournament. Put a tape in. Have your assistant put the tape in, and at least do something. And it shocks me that it still happens.
Yeah, well, it's also I know you guys don't like sounds like an excuse, but Tuca's never been a big fan of the international tournament.
He has it. He could care less. But you know what?
Even the Interliga
his
guys.
fans don't feel like that.
Oh, was that Ron?
Yeah, Tuca even hated the Interliga, and that was between the Mexican teams,
Yeah,
he just hates anything that's not in the league. That's not part of league play.
Well, yeah, and I think he understands that the owners, I think that at the end of the day, if you do well, if you're in Liguilla, for at least for the Mexican league, that they'll be fine with that. Anything else is bonus. And he is that one coach that's never been fired, man. He hasn't been let go at midseason or.
Well, despite the fact that
left.
At Tuca no le importa ni un cacahuate these other tournaments, the team obviously did, because they built this team to play 2 tournaments with all the extra bodies they have. So
yeah.
So and again, if you're going to go through all that trouble, why don't you add that last step of maybe figuring out a little bit about the teams you're playing.
Yeah, I think it would have to come ultimately the owners making it a priority to say, okay, we need some international glory now. But I do think that's Chivas, and I would like to see them at the Clubs World Cup. But it won't be easy for them. I think America doing this good, and I wasn't expecting it.
Joel, are you entering into a trance? Did we just did you drink some special tea at the Delphic Oracle? Are we gonna have to start? Do we need to start writing this stuff down? Are you making some predictions, Joel?
No, but I had called it, I think, at the beginning of the season when we were doing like predictions.
Yes.
And I said Chivas is not going to go to Liguilla, but I could see them getting to the final. I saw them getting to the final. My crystal ball wasn't too clear after that.
So you still, so then your offer still stands.
My offer still stands.
Chivas to the final.
If they get to the final, I hit and I got some saved tweets where I was telling some of the other Chivistas out there.
Yeah. Now the question is,
bring those back up. Be like, les dije culeros. What happened?
If they make the final, Joel, is it going to be? Ron De Luna joins us from Philadelphia. Ron, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing, John? How are you doing, Juan?
Hey,
Things
Ron.
things good up in Philly?
Weather just kind of, it's really cold, and next thing you know, it's like humid, or not humid, but kind of warm, and then it's cold again.
Y Ron, en América sigue sin convencer. Sigue sin convencer.
I'm not convinced yet.
Still not convinced.
No.
No. Your weekly chats with Piojo you haven't provided the breakthrough needed.
I mean, I said it at the very beginning. I think at least they're good enough to make it to the semifinals. But then again, excuse me, I still don't think that they're like, it's almost like a guarantee.
So you think that that with what they have now and the way they've been playing semifinals fácil, and you think that they still haven't proven to you or other staunch card-carrying Americanistas that they're ready to make that next step?
Well, I mean, one of the things that, right now they're already talking about, if America doesn't win either the league or the CONCACAF, it's already, fracasos. I mean, so people are already they're already wanting to print, America, failing.
Sure.
And again, I think I'd like for Piojo to really, like I said, like even in the beginning of the season, I said that I'd like Piojo to really do a good preseason, and then take it into the next season with his team, because not all the roster still isn't wasn't all selected by Piojo, but I think he's done a good job with what he has.
Well, I mean, they're sitting comfortably in second place. I still believe they still have yet to lose. Correct? They still have not lost.
Yeah, they haven't lost yet.
And they're in the semifinals against Toronto. Now, Ron, you want that Clásico Nacional in the final, don't you? You want to rip Chivas spinal cord out and hold it up in victory at the end of the Conca Champions, just because you can, yet again.
Just for the lulz, just for the. No, I do. I want them to win it. I want them to win that and the league.
Right. Well, as any fan would.
Yeah.
But obviously, would it be extra special if you get to do it against? If you did it against New York, would it feel the same? Probably not.
Did America go to back Club World Cups?
I believe they did. I think they won it.
No.
No. I know that they won two. Recently, with. I don't know if it was back to back.
Oh, wait a second. You mean like in this decade? I think you might be right.
Yeah, they did.
Because I remember they lost to the Chinese going Gansu, whatever.
Oh yeah, you're right.
With Big Phil, and then the follow up, they managed to win that.
Yeah.
Big Phil and the 2002 Brazil World Cup team.
Yeah.
Weren't they all on that team?
He did have Robinho and a couple of the exiles.
Yeah. And then they lost to Real Madrid, where they asked.
Volpe that if he won, he would retire right then and there.
That's right. Yeah, they asked him how he was going to prepare for it.
Yo siempre digo que el fútbol algunas veces, en mi punto de vista, es como un ajedrez.
So.
And he hasn't been coaching, John.
He's been doing his Vigo blogs, which according to I think Profe has been studying them, ingesting them,
religiously,
watching them backwards and forwards, and then practicing how some of those things work with the 4-year-olds or whatever it is that he's coaching right now.
While trying to let his mustache grow. They're saying parece convento, puras madrecitas.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Man,
he grows his mustache and they confuse him for Cantinflas.
If I was a team that was really serious about making players, that'd be the first guy I'd hire to say you're in charge of the youth stuff, because that way the results don't matter. Just produce the players. Those are his results.
Yeah, I do think he would do well in that, John.
Yeah.
I wonder why the Fed and the Fed's been just like they've been putting young coaches, and then a lot of these coaches they can't seem to get work. Like so, it's what Gutierrez recently
Right.
who did a pretty good job, and I haven't heard of him since.
Chucho Ramirez was the last one, if I'm not mistaken. He went to America and he did okay, and they fired him anyway.
Yeah.
So, but we wouldn't. It wouldn't be Cantina MX's podcast if we didn't have a little Santos talk. And the only way we can have proper Santos talk is if we introduce our resident Guerrero, ready for battle. I wonder if he's bringing the guns like he did last week. But Daniel Preciado joins us from Escondido. Daniel, how are you, sir?
Doing great, John. Evening to everybody. I'm doing good, man.
So Santos is top of the league, and are you more excited about the league or the fact that they made the semifinals of the Copa MX?
I'm a little bit more excited for the league play and the prospects of being considered legitimate contenders now.
Yeah, they lost their stellar goal scorer to an injury, but it didn't matter. They were able to beat Monterrey, a good come from behind victory, and Santos is again fully entrenched in first place. And I have to ask you again. I ask you every week, Joel. No, I'm sorry, Dan. Do you see it clear as each week passes that firing Chepo was the right move?
Much like the marine layer here in Southern California, takes a while for it to burn off the fog.
Right.
So yeah, it's slowly but surely it's clearing up, and the stench, the dark cloud, the negative juju is slowly washing away. So yeah, I'm happy.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Of course, they're in the Copa MX semifinal. I was hoping Pumas would make the Copa MX semifinals. They were well on their way to doing that, but they ended up losing to Necaxa last night. But Santos is in it. And,
but yeah, just to finish the point real quick, why I'm because beating Monterrey is it's a tough task for Santos typically.
Sure. Well, for any team, I mean, Monterrey is a good team.
Yeah, but like especially Santos. I mean, historically, it's always been yeah, for sure.
Is there a bit of a rivalry there? Bit of a Clásico del Norte type of thing going on?
According to FIFA, I forget what edition I used to play, but according to FIFA, they would call it like the derby, but I don't think it's a Clásico. I mean, I think there's a rivalry there, but I don't know about Clásico del Norte. I think that's a bit try hard. It's a good rivalry. Fans don't seem to like each other very much. Whenever there are like incidents, it tends to be with the Monterrey teams. So I think it's just like maybe like a northern rivalry type of thing. But Clásico,
I wonder if people from Monterrey look down on people from Torreón. Maybe I wonder if that has something to do with that.
I don't know why would they would look down. I mean,
have you been to Monterrey?
No, I haven't.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean,
I don't need to go.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Monterrey is a really cool. Ron, when was last time you were in Monterrey? Have you been to Monterrey, Ron?
Yeah, actually many times. It's been a long time though. It's probably been about 10 years.
Yeah, it's a fun little town.
Yeah. My godfather is actually he doesn't live there anymore, but yeah. So yeah, I used to go there quite a bit when I was younger.
I'll just say the Comarca Lagunera holds its own, man. It's not for the soft.
I'm still trying to figure out what a comarca is.
So like Laguna, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
The area is a dry.
It's a desert
lake bed. Dry lake bed.
Oh, so is that what a comarca is?
That's why that's why they call it La Laguna, because there used to be apparently eons ago, but yeah,
an ancient lake.
Yes, an ancient lake. Now we have they just have El Rio Nazas now, I believe. But no, man, they like I said, they were getting past Monterrey. Always a tough task. Doing it without Giannini, which, a team that's not totally confident in itself and maybe dependent on one player could easily just fall apart with their star players. I mean, John, you can probably speak on that. How like you lose your star player, the whole team falls apart. So that's.
Why are you coming at me like that, Dan?
I'm not trying to come at you like that.
No,
I think you know what I think it is. I think is watching Tigres lose, and I got some Tuca hate in me, and I just I'm trying to warm you up.
Man, we'll get to. I know that you'll have a. I should have asked you if you had an opening tirade, but I guess we'll.
No opening tirade now.
No,
I'm too happy.
We'll definitely get.
We had talked with Dan about the Giannini, and because he was on the road to break Cardoso's record, or to equal it, or to get close to it. But he was definitely on that road, and he had already broken one of Cardoso's records. But then he's injured, right? So when is he coming back? 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. So I would save him for Liguilla, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think they definitely shouldn't rush him back just for the sake of trying to secure first place or trying to get him into some kind of record book. I think everybody involved know that there's like a bigger prize.
So and then the Uruguayo, the striker, I forget his name, but he came in. Yeah, and he scored 2 goals. Is he his backup, or do they play together from time to time?
He's been a starter off and on lately. He's been more of coming off the bench and playing more withdrawn, not so much. So they not to mention, and Furch had a really good game too. He was involved in all 3 of the goals, quietly, but he's stepping up. He's starting to score himself. So yeah, they seem to be having a little bit more depth than definitely in the previous seasons, where they could absorb like a minor hit like this. But yeah, man, it's always encouraging for sure. I think Jonathan's probably gonna, I don't ever think he was ever playing poorly, to be honest with you. I think he's just been a little bit unlucky, and maybe he tries to do a little too much sometimes. But,
he scored an absolute cracker of a goal. It may have been in this week's Copa, where a defender gave him, what had to have been at least a 65, 70-yard pass, and he deadened it just perfectly. One bounce and just dropped it at the back. It was an outstanding goal. It was very impressive. Santos has been impressive. Santos, to me, like Cruz Azul over the last 20 years have been the Liga MX's most consistent teams, in my opinion. Occasionally they'll have the one or two down years, but more often than not, Santos is going to be at the end of the season is going to be in the playoffs. So it's good to have them back.
Yeah, man, we're due for another championship. We're usually good for every 3 or 4 years, so it's about that time.
Like a fine vintage ready to be plucked.
And I'll say it again, man. If we can win one with El Chuleta,
scoring
I really like my chances, man.
Scoring a poker.
So,
if I'm not mistaken, Chuletita is the CONCACAF Champions League all-time leading scorer. I'm gonna have to look that up. He was for the longest time. I don't know if anyone's ever, because he was playing.
He was playing with Cruz Azul, and then he was also playing with Santos too. Right. I think maybe at the time.
In the group stages where he's scoring 5 and 6 goals a game, and occasionally.
Yeah, I'm hoping they go far in the Liga, just because I want to see them back in CONCACAF, especially after this somewhat disappointing display.
So, all right, Dan. What was the I'm assuming you're discussing the Toronto Tigres game, where Tigres was beaten. They won 3-2, but they lost on aggregate 4-4 due to the away goals rule. I did not get to watch the game because I was driving back from Dallas. So I'll let you please let us know what happened.
Well, I think typical Tigres, dude. To be honest with you, I mean, they have one option, they have one idea. You know, they're gonna, and if it doesn't work out, there's not much of a plan B. They didn't play well. They just simply didn't. They had their chances. They had lots of chances to get through. I think they probably should have. But when you don't take your chances and then and you don't play well, I mean, obviously the Toronto's a decent team. You know, they shouldn't be overlooked, and it's just a disappointment. You can't think of a really solid reason that Tigres should have realistically lost. I mean, you look at what Xolos did, and that makes a lot more sense. They weren't playing all that well in the league. They played poorly at home, and they just that wasn't a surprise. The Tigres is the champion. They're actually they're up there on the table, and in good position to try to defend their title. And this is the one tournament that seems to be evading them.
It's their white the fans. Their snake bit. They you know, and then the fact that they have to deal with Monterrey having won 3 of them in a row. So
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like and I think you have to blame Tuca for something like this. I mean, the way he talks, and I don't understand why he had to make it a point to discuss about how these teams, how Mexico is not the giant anymore. I'm like, I don't understand the point of it. It's almost like you're trying to cushion everybody for the inevitable fall. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I just, yeah, man, Tuca disappoints, man. That team should be winning a hell of a lot more.
It's funny you say that, Dan, because I'm looking at some tweets, and Jorge Whitker, the founder of the magazine Soccer Mania, he tweets out saying that 12 different teams have won the champion or the CONCACAF, including Atlético Español, Atlante, and Tecos, and Tigres isn't one of them. He's even suggesting that maybe there's time to go with another coach with a little bit more. It's a little bit more hungry. So I can't believe he's already asking for another coach.
Yeah, well, Tuca's not going. I mean, Tuca's signed until 2020, and I just don't see them. And he's going to play in this thing again next year too.
I guess my beef with him and why, I mean, obviously he warrants to stay on the job. Obviously, they're winning every other tournament. But I just think that I don't know, man. Just watching them is just frustrating. They want to be considered uno de los grandes. I mean, not like that, dude.
Well, how much of that is on Tuca and how much of that is on the players, though?
I think a lot of it is on Tuca, man. Because
I think it's on Tuca. He vocally. Sorry about that, Rodney, but like he's very vocal about devaluing or these international tournaments or likes to make excuses that he doesn't have enough players to. And he literally has like the deepest team in probably the hemisphere.
Right. We'd mentioned that earlier that the roster excuse is just not valid and not that he's made it, but please continue your.
No, well, I mean that's all I really had. Like this, I don't think he has a tendency to talk down or devalue the international competitions.
And Ron, you wanted to smack on Tuca. You wanted to drag Tuca a little bit as well.
Not necessarily drag on, but I just thought just for example, his set pieces, his corner kicks, and the way it's like one of the goals came off of that fast break off a set piece.
Right.
At that point, you should be doing those level pista type corner kicks where you're not really crossing right into the box. You're basically giving it to one of the guys like near outside the box and then recrossing in there. Because these guys, Tigres was getting beat on a fast break, and it's like how wasn't Duca not adjusting to that? And I couldn't believe it. And like it's not like that. What's that small Italian player? What's his name? Jovinko. There's absolutely no reason for that guy to be doing that much damage when he's really the only one going up in the attack. It's like it was like a little frustrating, and it's not like I care. I didn't care if Tigres won or lost, but it's just like frustrating. It's like, dude, Duca, you know better than this. But I think it goes back to him not really prioritizing this tournament, and like you guys have all said, and I even recall, Duca when he was back in the Interliga coaching in Houston and stuff like that. That guy's like, he couldn't wait to get out of those tournaments.
Yeah, Ron. I even said it last week how when he was at Chivas and it was Libertadores was invitational.
Yeah.
He turned it down. He was the Chivas coach, and he's like, we're just, he turned down a Libertadores. I remember being mad for a long time.
You guys all have very valid points about Duca. It is very frustrating to look back at his career and to see how many opportunities he has had with the numerous teams that he's coached. To have Tigres in the Libertadores final and play as poorly as he did. Even the title he won against Pumas in 20. Remember they were up 3-0 in the first leg, and they went down 3-0 in the second leg. So that came very close to being a historic collapse. He was bailed out by his team on that one, but. And again, I'm not going to defend the guy, but I think we do understand that the priority that he places on tournaments is very small, and it's very unfortunate because I think that that doesn't necessarily reflect what the club wants. I think the club desperately wanted to go to that tournament. I think the club wanted to measure themselves against better opponents, to see if they would have a chance to, maybe surprise somebody.
I think all neutrals, John. I think all neutrals want to see Tigres win it because it would be like the strongest representation of the league that you can throw out there.
Right.
That's like the reason I've always wanted to see them. Like why I wanted them to win last year, just because you think maybe they might be able to sneak out a surprise. But who am I kidding? They can't beat River, and they can't even beat Toronto, so they're not going to take anybody out at a UEFA, and probably not.
And that'll be right in the middle of the Liguilla. So Tuca's like, how Tuca is. Why do I have to go all the way to Japan to do this thing when I am 3 points out of 6, whatever it is. So. Yeah, it's it is unfortunate, and but we will have if a Mexican team does make it to the Club World Cup, there will be some very reasonable representation from either Chivas or from Club America, and the call up came out. 28 players were selected for this call up, and 2 players were Chivas. One is going to essentially be the third goalkeeper, and the second one was a last-minute replacement because Giovanni Dos Santos got injured over the weekend. What does that say about the state of Mexican soccer, where the base of the team that plays the most Mexicans can only get 2 of them on the national team? Does that say anything about Mexican soccer?
I think it's just the coach preferring still European players. Because honestly, and like I don't know if you saw the press conference with or not the press conference, but it was a remark that Piojo was telling to to the press about Paul Aguilar
Mhm.
and stuff, and it's like he's right now Mexico's best, and you can make an argument, but he definitely deserves. I don't know what he's done to not deserve a call up.
Yeah, if Alanis without playing got a call up.
He's not big. He's not. He's not
Yeah,
very
he's not
physically.
big.
He's not much of a physical presence. That's
He's lacking a
that's
few
his.
inches.
So Osorio is essentially sacrificing and not giving up a goal on a set play for speed and someone that can quickly close
And that also
on a breakaway.
that also answers like why there's not a lot of Chivas fans too.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of what now? I'm sorry.
So
It's just a bunch of
midgets.
midgets on Chivas. So I mean, that's not something it's not. He'd rather go with height and size. So he thinks that's their biggest weakness, and that's what he goes for. So I mean, that's why you don't see a whole lot of Chivas, and you won't see a lot of Chivas players. I think the fact that there are as many as there are is fortunate considering the season that they're having.
That is a very interesting point that you make there, Dan. That the Chivas has pretty much been terrible all season. In fact, I think if you combine the seasons, the last three would be Chivas, Pumas, Veracruz.
That'd be quite the relegation battle.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be. Yeah, so 28 players. So if you're not on this list, you're not going to the World Cup. I mean that's what that tells me. When he calls 28, this is like when La Volpe, and I think didn't La Puente do it also in '98 where he called more guys than the final 23, and then people had to get cut. And I know that like Jimmy Lozano got cut in '06. Dos Santos, the younger Dos Santos got cut in 2010, and who was it? Was it
Was he
Tilon
on this
Chavez?
call up?
Yes, Jonathan was.
Okay, I didn't see him. Okay, all right.
Wasn't it Tilon Chavez, Ron, that got the axe right before France '98?
Well, if I recall correctly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have to check again, but like whereas La Volpe actually took the players into the camp, the reserves were not taken to the camp. I could be wrong, though. I have to check. But, yeah, I mean, like I'm seeing here Jorge Hernandez. You guys think he's going to even make it?
No chance.
All right, so I'm going to go down the list. Corona,
Yes.
Ochoa,
Yes.
Talavera.
Either Talavera or Cota.
All right, okay, Edson Alvarez,
Maybe.
Néstor Araujo,
Yes.
Hugo Ayala,
Yes. No.
Jesus. Okay.
Please.
Stop, no and don't.
Jesus Gallardo,
Yes.
Yeah.
Miguel Ayun,
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Héctor Moreno,
Yes.
Diego Reyes,
Yes.
Carlos Salcedo,
Yes.
Jonathan Dos Santos,
Yes.
Fabián,
Maybe.
Jonathan
Fabian's question mark.
Gonzalez.
He needs to start playing.
Gonzalez, no.
Yeah, Fabián needs to start playing. He needs to stop going on those SS shows and start playing, right? I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
he's always looked old, and after back surgery, that's like an old man injury right there. So it's a serious injury. It's a serious injury. I mean, so we'll see how he comes back. There's no guarantee he's gonna be able to get back to that level.
Has he? I mean, he hasn't even played that much for his club, right?
Not this year.
I mean, he's been back
Someone
on-
riding a moped.
Last year, it took him a while. He found himself in the doghouse after a while, but after he got into shape and started working, he became, at least in my opinion, one of the better players, if not the best player on his team. I mean,
he became one of the leaders of the team. Like he became what you've always wanted him to become.
I never even imagined he could play like that, and he carried that form the entire second half of the season. So, and he showed glimpses of it as well over the summer. I think everybody was looking forward to seeing him play. Just continue that form. and
Alright.
but unfortunately he got this broken back.
So, all right. So going back to the list, Jonathan Gonzalez,
No.
Omar Gomer,
Maybe.
Andres Guardado,
Yes.
Jorge Hernandez. You said no.
No.
Héctor Herrera,
Yes.
Jesus Molina,
No.
Rodolfo Pizarro,
Maybe.
Javier Aquino,
Yes.
Corona,
Yes.
Tecatito.
If honestly, I am shocked that he made this call.
What about Junior Gordon?
No, I don't. I'm not a fan of Jurgen Damm. I think that he is the textbook definition of a one-trick pony.
Were you bitching him out from your couch too? Oh no, you're driving. You missed it, John. Gignac was bitching him out after every cross, after every dribble, after every shot.
I just wanted him to score so he could just take off his shirt and celebrate like Cristiano.
Like Cristiano.
With that
that's
bird
right.
chest. That bird chest.
That's right. with his caved-in chest.
Yeah.
That 12-year-old chest.
Damn. Chickies were like that.
Shout out to Chiquis, who hopefully will be at some point tomorrow.
He went to France.
He likes that young aesthetic.
Yeah, no, he's in France, and he went right at the right time when France made it the age of consent at 15. So props to you. I'm kidding. I kid.
Well, yeah, if you wanted to know, all you have to do is go to Louisiana. So that's right. You don't have to go all the way to France for that. But no, but Chiquis is I thought that he would come on as our European correspondent, but he said he was too tired. He didn't want to get up at 4 or 5 or whatever it is.
5 in the morning. What time is it over there? And it's like 8-9 hour difference.
No, yeah, it's only a 6 hour difference. Come on, guys. Well, for you, Hoyle, it's an 8 hour difference.
Yeah.
No, for us, it's like about a 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Well, it's 6 for us for London, so you guys are 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Chicharito, yes.
Yes.
Jimenez, yes.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how.
Obviously, the one is Lozano. He's a definite.
Yeah.
Peralta, El Hermoso, he's definite, and Vela
should be definite.
I think Chucky got hurt, and I think that red card was a huge blessing in disguise for him. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't appeal it. Seriously, I think he had a bad ankle.
You might be right.
He got hurt in that last game. The last game before he got red carded, and yeah. So
what do you guys think of the teams that they're going to be playing? Iceland and Croatia.
I really don't care about them, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't really care who the opposition is. I think right now it's just obviously this list is going to be what's going to Russia. So you want to start seeing some cohesion.
They were looking for rivals that could be similar to Sweden, I would say. So to get a good, to get a good feel of what it's going to be like to go up against the Swedes. So that would be interesting right there. If we play their sides and not their own.
And Croatia is like a poor man's Germany in the sense that they play a different style than the Northern Europeans. They're more a little more possession based, like the Germans are. So it's definitely going to be a good. I mean, obviously, Croatia, even though they beat us at their friendly last year in Los Angeles, but son clientes. I mean, that's just the way it is. At least in World Cups, that's how it's been.
One of my favorite images was, if I'm not mistaken, it's when Mexico scored the third goal. And you had that, it was like that Croatian fan, just really good looking girl.
Yeah.
She was just pissed. And then there was like right next to her is a Mexican fan, also a chick. And she's just celebrating. It's hilarious. I'll try to find it and I'll post it.
Oh, I've seen it many times, believe me. I know exactly what you're talking about. It is very funny.
Yeah, both of those chicks are hot too.
Yeah, they were. That was definitely a good. But as far as the matchups, as Joel said, it's a good tune-up. I'm starting to think that they may want to start figuring out maybe play a game or two against teams that play Korea style too, because I think Korea, you don't want to. To me, Korea is the Tunis of this group.
Does Korea still play the way they used to, like kind of possession based, or have they
kinda? No,
gone away from that?
they've gotten throttled in the last couple of World Cups. I mean, Algeria hung a 5 spot on them in the last World Cup. So and then I guess in 2010 they made the second round, and probably should have, and they got a real good shot at beating Uruguay. They even, I think they were tied, and then Uruguay scored a late winner that would have been the game that Mexico would have played had they won their group and come out of first place in Group A. They would have played South Korea in the round of 16. But again, for the group that Mexico has, I don't think there's not one game. Obviously, the Germany game is not, but neither Korea or Sweden are gimmies by any stretch of the imagination. They're both going to be very difficult games. Korea, if I'm not mistaken, beat Mexico at the Rio Olympics, and they ended up advancing out of the group stage instead of Mexico. So there is some precedent there as well.
I'm feeling good about it though, John. I looked at that list, and it's a strong list.
You mean the Mexico team?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is his. I mean, and like I said, if you're not on this group of 28, then you're not going to the World Cup. I mean, this is who he's going to choose the 23 players from.
And I just think it's pretty promising. Some of the players are getting enough. I think are playing just enough. I think you have to be really. I'm not sure if relieved is the right word. Maybe encouraged with Vela's play so far. He's been impressive. He's looking good. So I mean,
yeah, I think the one guy who was in danger and the injury didn't help is Giovanni.
I still think he's going to find himself on the list, but because I think Osorio likes him, but yeah, he's definitely got himself on the questionable list at this point. Wouldn't it be something though, if Jonathan finally goes to the World Cup
and Gio doesn't?
Yeah,
that would be that would be very interesting.
Sadly ironic.
Yeah. So out of those 28, I was just so it would be Molina, Jonathan, Burrito,
Pizarro,
and I guess like Govea or one of the defenders. Oh,
I think
Hugo
those
Ayala.
are
Hugo Ayala would not. I mean, surely Hugo Ayala is not going to be on the.
I really don't think he'll.
Yeah. And then
so it's really. I think Molina still has a slight chance to sneak in, but who knows?
Is he Santos or is he Monterrey? Molina.
He's in Monterrey.
Is he?
I still like him though. I like how obviously he's a big boy, but I like his style of play. It's simple, it's safe, and I think with the team as slow as it is in the back and they tend to be susceptible to bad turnovers in the middle of the field, and someone like him, I think he adds a little protection.
Well, he would have to, yeah. I mean, but that's the one position that Osorio, has had problems filling in. He's been using Herrera, and Herrera it just does not have the. I'm not going to say he doesn't have the discipline, but but he just doesn't have the instinct to go back and defend. So he doesn't do it as often as you want that position to do it.
That position in the fullback seems to be where he seems to have the most question marks and has tinkered with the most. Because for the most part, we know the rest of the positions of the starters it's that that midfielder role and those fullbacks that see where. Oh man. But like I said, though, after looking at the list, I'm feeling good about Russia, man. I know, but I am the sunshine thumper, and Joel is the doom and gloom guy. You should be the Morsi fan.
It's true.
I am Morrissey fan, just not as big of a fan.
He's
Ah,
he's still in the Morrissey closet. Hasn't fully embraced his predilections for Momo the way that others have. So Joel, are you still doom and gloom?
Yes, for the World Cup, yes.
But
Just 'cause I see us losing.
aren't you always doom and gloom though?
No, I always. There's always been like a bit of hope there, a sprinkling of hope.
But now Mexico's a black hole where not even hope can escape at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you could still. There is some. I just don't see it. I look into my crystal ball and it's not there.
Yeah, it's I will be pleasantly surprised if Mexico manages to make the round of 16. I mean, obviously I want it to happen as a fan, but I don't think it's as slam and dunk as other people think. I think it's going to be a real struggle, and if they get there, then then they'll have nothing to lose. But getting there is going to take every bit of energy and luck and everything. It's going to be a
and let's
team effort.
let's hope Brazil starts slow.
Sure. Well, you don't want to catch Brazil when they like score 10 goals in the group stage or just smoking people.
Hopefully they eke into the knockout rounds. I definitely still think they're definitely a team capable of underperforming early in the tournament, doing just enough to qualify. Because they're Brazil, they don't really care who they play next.
Right. The group stage to them is more of a tune-up. The tournament starts.
But if that were the case, so they would end up playing Germany.
If they made it in second place, yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean,
so
Germany wins.
That is actually a motivation
for Brazil.
Yeah,
I don't think Brazil has to worry about not finishing first in their group. Honestly, I mean, their group is pretty accessible, as they say. I don't think they have too much to worry about in that group. So we'll be moving on. Now I know that we always want to talk about Conca Champions because those are the teams, but there was another Champions League set of games this week, and the quarterfinals are set in that Champions League, and Lionel Messi had another superb performance yesterday for Barcelona. Just, I mean, really, we're just so lucky to be able to see a guy like that play. It really is. It is a lot of fun. He scored some great goals, made some great passes. Just a great player. Just a lot of a very enjoyable performance by.
They
by
played
him.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed it.
And he played really well. I got to see most of it, and it was. I mean, when you watch him and you watch that team when they click it, I mean, I don't see how people can not watch that as a neutral and not have just a huge smile on your face. Go, wow, that's just, it's like listening to it's just I find it really, really entertaining.
There was like 2 plays where Chelsea did get screwed over, though.
Well, aren't there always? I mean, it is Chelsea.
but it was to me, it was a penalty clear as day, dude. And I'm like, I started laughing because I was thinking about the, that remember when Drogba and them got screwed over?
Oh yeah, he and Balak. Just tearing into the route. Oh, yeah.
But I figure somebody like you, Ron, would be absolutely okay with the Grandes getting the calls.
I don't care with these two teams. I just
figured they're the big team. They're the ones who've done it. If anybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's gonna be the big team,
especially at home.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea's gone screwed over lots of times at the expense of at Barcelona, and I just thought it was just like you're adding more to the history,
It is amazing that there's never a dull moment when either of these when these two teams play. I mean, it's always entertaining.
They have met up so many times in the past 10 years. It's pretty
And you're right. Easily some of the more entertaining matches.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was working for the state when Iniesta scored that goal late in that game. Where they had to have the I guess it was on the away goal rule that they ended up winning. And then I remember being at lunch and seeing SCN score the first goal for just an absolute. What a terrific midfielder. I mean, he was, he and Xavi at one point, in my opinion, along with Iniesta, they were the best midfielders in the world. SCN, Xavi, and Iniesta were just outstanding. It was so much fun to watch them play against each other. I mean, they really did bring out the best out of each other. It was fantastic. And I mean, I've seen. It's so weird. It seems like I'm always traveling for work. That was the great thing about when I was doing a lot of traveling, is that I would be, I'd be on the road and I'd be at a Chili's. Oh, there's Champions League. It's at 1:30, and you can watch the game and have a 2-hour lunch and watch the game and go finish what you're doing.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. So it's Liverpool is in, Manchester City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, which again just throttled PSG, and it's Bayern, and so it's the usual suspects. Juventus, it's the usual suspects yet again, and I believe that they're going to have a draw, and then a quarterfinal draw, and then that'll be the last draw they have before the final.
I think the story from this round is Manchester United, and obviously.
Oh, that's right. Sevilla. Sevilla was one that. You're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. And I mean, that has to be just an abject. I mean, you talk about fracassos. I mean, that is. I mean, you don't bring a guy like Mourinho if you're Manchester United and you pay him what you pay him for him to get bounced in the round of 16 to.
Did you hear his post game?
No.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
So he and Tuca need to get together, and
I think he beat anything Tuca ever said. I mean, just the way he said, he's like, "Look, man, Manchester losing in the Champions League is nothing new."
I mean, I beat them in Porto. I beat them with Real Madrid.
It was incredible. Wow. I was like, I couldn't believe he's saying that. Yeah, it was a great quote.
That is hilarious.
He went through the list. And he made sure that he included himself as one of the teams as part of the team that beat him. So funny stuff.
Yeah, well, the owner's in Tampa, so it's not like the owner was was at the game. So how bizarre does that have to be for English fans to know that half their teams are owned by foreigners?
I don't think it's a big deal. At least it shouldn't be. I mean, what difference does it make if the owner is a foreigner? I mean, most of the team are foreigners. So.
Yeah, but it didn't used to be that way. But,
yeah, I think it's that investing that foreign money is what's made the league as popular and as big as it is.
But it was popular before that,
Yeah, but it's mega popular now. I mean, it's what the NFL wants. It's what the NFL wants to be. I mean, I know people always want to say that the NFL is the biggest league in the world, but the Premier League. I mean, the Premier League. People watch games on every continent. I don't know if you can say that, and religiously. I don't think you can say that about the NFL. So, I'm just we should have find an Englishman and have him on to talk about that because I mean so Dan, you don't think it matters as long as the team puts investment.
I think especially in leagues like that, just like in Mexico, owners are going to, it's a business. So obviously foreigners are going in there, and not only that, there's a lot of prestige. Just like you said, it was already popular. So if you're a guy with a ton of money, then being the owner of Chelsea, being the owner of Manchester City sounds appealing. It's cool. It's like, all right, sure, why not? It makes them instantly famous. So
it'd be a great thing to put on your Twitter handle. Hey, dad of two, living the dream, owner of Manchester United.
I think there's a bit to that. They obviously see that there's a potential for making a lot of money, which I don't know if they actually do make a lot of money. But I think that's the appeal. I mean, and that's the reality of it too. The best coaches in the league aren't English, are they?
No.
So the fact that the owners are foreigners also. I mean,
and so are the players.
Yeah, so that's I definitely think it's a non-issue.
Ron, do you think that'll ever happen in Mexico?
What's that?
More so than it already is now. Forward ownership.
I think so.
I think it's what they want.
I
think it's what they want, though. With them trying to build the first division of 20 teams and trying to build a second, like a more stable second division. I definitely think they should be open and actually court some foreign investment. I think it'll just make it more interesting. And if they're going to be good owners, then why not? Who cares where they're from?
Because I think you're going against history, the history of the game and what it meant for the community. I mean, I think Argentina, in that respect, has it. They're correct in that every team is a club, and the club votes. I don't know.
Yeah, but both. I mean, the clubs and the mission statements for both are in Argentina and Mexico are entirely different.
I know, but I wouldn't want just a product out there. You know what I mean?
Sure, no, I understand. I mean, there has to be some sort of connection, not just to the club members, but to the in Argentina. I mean, how many out of the first division, out of the 2014 first division? How many of those teams are from Buenos Aires? What is it, like 20?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's basically a neighborhood league, the Argentine league. So I mean, there's so many clásicos because it's like there's one stadium here and the other stadium is 3 blocks away, and and then those fans just hate each other for that particular game, and then that just doesn't. I mean, it's just not the case in Mexico, so it's just a little different. And also, as Dan said, the way that the Mexican clubs make money is not the way that the Argentines clubs would. Because the Argentines would do it by cultivating the players, and that's just not what Mexican clubs want to do. They want to bring in. They want to buy the cultivated players from Argentine clubs, is what they want to do, and it's what they've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
No, it was just interesting. I've always wondered, what people's opinions were on those particular subjects, because I think it didn't happen until 2004, but 2004 was the first year where an English side, it was Arsenal, won the EPL where they didn't field a single Englishman on their team. On the starting 11. It was all a bunch of Frenchies and Czechs and Spaniards.
Yeah, it's club football. I think it's a bit of a polarizing subject. I think you have your very hardcores who think that there should be less of a foreign influence in domestic leagues, while you have others who think it's a professional league. It's not a national competition. So you just want your team to be good. So it doesn't really matter where they're from. At least,
You just want
and
to be
that's
able
how
to
I.
find that balance, between. I understand that the leagues want to compete and it's an investment and yada yada yada. They want to bring in players. I get that, and I
I think
respect.
you have to be realistic, though. You
Yeah,
have to be realistic with what your team is.
and you also have to be realistic that speaking of Mexico, is that if Mexico produced more and better players, then they wouldn't have to buy other ones from other countries. So, and also there's a part of the whole espectáculo, and they want to sell tickets and all that, and I totally get that too.
But that's just the thing.
But you have to be able to find the balance, though.
But that's just the thing. No one's going to convince me, and not because I'm hard-headed here, but no one's going to convince me that the league, in terms of entertainment, is a lot better now than it was when they had the presidential decree of having 4 foreigners in Mexico City and 5 in the provinces. Those teams were great to watch. They were fun.
I don't disagree with you, and
So it's like, why are we going to one extreme? Because I think when you pump a league full of foreigners, I think you're doing more harm than good, because obviously there's going to be exploitation. And then it's like, what's the purpose of investing in grassroots if all you're going to be doing is buying talent from overseas anyhow?
Right.
So right there, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot, because you're not gonna invest in your own communities.
Right, but that's only because and the way that it's been in Mexico, and it's something that you've pointed out many times, is that the government doesn't subsidize the athletic growth of kids.
No, they don't.
And so so why is it that Club America is responsible for? They might have, say, 100 kids in their academy.
Yeah.
Let's put a lot of pressure on those 100 kids. Because of that fact. So and then that, to me, I guess, is where the entertainment factor comes in. Is that for a country as populous as Mexico, and for as soccer crazy as Mexico is, how many kids fall through the cracks because they never had any opportunities to play any kind of organized sport, because it's just not part of the fabric of the culture in Mexico. It's just not. They'll play a lot of pickup games, but the organized stuff, you got to have money for that.
And that's where I blame the press, because for years, they used to market. They used to say it, publicly in television. They used to refer to the second division as La Liga del Infierno, or van a bajar el, stuff like that. Just basically belittling the lower divisions.
Right.
I'm not saying, here's the thing. It's like you don't have to be a cheerleader, but you can market. It's in their interest to market. You have. Little League World Championship in the United States in August. And they're fun as hell to watch. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do that in Mexico with U12 or U15 tournaments?
Sure. No, I believe me. I agree 100%. That's I've always thought that they could have like state championships, and then there's like 31, 32 states in Mexico, and then have like a national championship for high school, both public and private. It would be. How cool would that be?
They did try. I don't remember if you recall, but this is when De La Torre was the president of the MFF. They did have for like 2-3 years the Liga Universitaria, but press never really caught on. It was
That's unfortunate.
It was actually the federation. It was actually the federation that was ponying up the money, trying to get this tournament going. But like I said, press never really caught on to it and never really promoted it.
The one thing that I will say, and I think that it's something that we've brought up on this podcast as long as it's been coming on when they've come out with these rules, Mexico's player pool. That's when it comes to national team. It's not going to get bigger; it's going to get smaller, and it's going to get smaller for the next World Cup, etc. And I used to think that that's on the federation and on the clubs, and they have to they have to have their fuerzas básicas, they have to generate all these players, blah blah blah. But the more I think about it, it's really not on the clubs and the players. It's more on the it's more on the just if this is the way that they want to go, then there has to be more than just the clubs. The other people have to get involved, and I mean, I just don't know or see that happening.
I remember, I think it was Bonilla or De Maria or whatever, but they were basically, I remember they made a comment something about that, with the more foreigners in Liga MX right now, that the Mexicans that are going to be playing, it'll be a better, although they're going to be fewer, they're going to be of better quality. And I'm not buying that argument because I mean, how many players, national team players, that did not make it through the U17s, U20s, U23s. They just blossomed out of nowhere, like Ingro Castro, even El Matador Hernandez.
Andres Guarda?
Yeah. I mean, it's like those type of players. It's like, okay, they were never really, national team players at the youth level, but 1 or 2 seasons, 1 or 2 years in Liga MX, they found their footing. They found they found themselves, and they were able to become very, very good players. And I think by having the amount of foreigners that you do, I mean, let's face it, a bunch of these foreigners, man, they're duds. They're not head above. They're not that much better.
They're cheaper.
True, they are cheaper.
Yeah,
it is a business, and I can understand that. But like I said, I thought the league was just as entertaining, if not more, when you had that five player limit.
Sergio Surge asked us on the chat: is the league more entertaining now or 20 years ago in the mid '90s?
I think it's more professional now. Professional doesn't mean more entertaining. I think, I honestly, I would say that it was better back then, because with more professionalism comes more rules. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to see those battle royales, which, okay, you're supposed to say, oh, no one wants that, but they were fun as hell, man. Those peakies, those battle royales, I don't know. It's just, I think they were, the games were played a little harder, a little more dirty. But although, I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't all finesse. They had great players, but it just seemed like they were just tougher.
I mean, there was more. It was more violent.
Yeah.
But on the other side, like I said, it wasn't as professional. It also wasn't necessarily as technical. It doesn't mean that it was bad. It just, I mean, like you said, there was parts of it that were certainly more entertaining. And there were also better teams back then too. I think there were more. Because they were teams that were good or better.
Yeah. I would have to agree with that. I just think it's going to what Sergio was asking. It's just, like I said, it's more professional. It's caught up. I mean, the standards that you see in the stadiums, the security and all that type of stuff. It's just it's a league that you would see in a first world country, quote unquote, with the professionalism. And, speaking of that, I wanted to bring up that Greek incident. With the
owner went down on the field with a gun.
That happened in that Tampico game. That happened against America.
Is it the same owner?
What's that? No.
Owner?
No. This was back in the late '80s, early '90s.
Oh, okay.
There was a game between Tampico, not Correcaminos, but actual Tampico Madero.
Right.
And they were playing against America in Tampico, and
La Jaiba muy brava.
Yeah, that's.
Now, Ron, I do want to switch gears here because we do have joining us. Two Chivas fans that I'm sure were very happy after last night's results. If I want to do a little Chiva talk, we have Rigoberto Ayala who joins us from New York. How are you,
How's
sir?
it going, guys?
So not only
I'm
did
doing
Chivas,
right.
but your boy Chofy scores a great goal. You must be very happy.
Oh, I was ecstatic. I couldn't be prouder of him.
And
I tried not to go crazy because it was late at night and I didn't want to wake up the whole house. But
are you going to go to the airport and greet them as they land?
I'm definitely thinking about it. Thinking about taking trophies on a Central Park carriage ride.
Yeah. Are you gonna kidnap La Chofis?
Yeah, take them down to the Lower East Side.
You know what's going to happen
bars.
if you kidnap La Chofis? You're going to get a phone call from Almeida.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
So you may want to think twice about kidnapping La Chofis.
I might pick up on Almeida and take him to Chili's because he loves Chili's.
I'm gonna have to find out which bar or club they're gonna go to so I can work the bathrooms, and then I file a lawsuit against the Chofis, similar to what they did to Cuauhtemoc Blanco back in the day.
Are you gonna come up for that, Ron?
Hell no. No, I wish I could do, but if anything, I wish I could go to the one in Toronto, man. I'm just so busy. You know.
Yeah, understandable.
So are you gonna go to the? Obviously, you're gonna go right to the Chivas.
Yeah, I'll be there. I mean, I've been covering all the games, all the Red Bull CONCACAF Champions games. So I'll definitely be there. But I also want to get a ticket and just sit in the stands.
Now, if Chivas wins, are you going to be celebrating up in the press box or not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You guys probably didn't see, but at the Chivas America game, I was up in the press box, right? And I did a Snapchat takeover of the Copa 90 Snapchat account. So when Chivas scores the goal, when Medina scores the goal, like I go crazy in the press box with my jersey on. Now here in New York, they don't really say anything about you having like jersey on or anything like that. But in Mexico, they don't allow it. So the guy comes over to me. One of the guys comes over to me. He's like, "Who are you with? Why are you in the press box?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm with blah blah." I show him my credentials and everything. And then I'm like, "Shit!" I'm gonna get kicked out. So at halftime, I go over and I'm like, "Hey, is everything cool?" He's like, "Yeah, it's because you were celebrating. You're not supposed to be celebrating." And I was like, "Oh, it's because I'm part of the media stuff that I'm doing. Like, I need to be celebrating and all this stuff." He's like, "I was like, but I won't do it again." But I almost thought I was gonna get kicked out because they definitely frown upon you celebrating or wearing a jersey.
That is hilarious because the Mexican journalists in the press are the worst ones for celebrating.
It was very hard not to celebrate, because the way the goal happened. Like I was just like, I couldn't not do it. And then
did you just rip out a?
Like there's a whole Snapchat story where I'm fucking yelling goal, screaming, jumping up and down.
Yeah, you probably should have done that from the press box. It's probably something you might want to do from the stands.
Yeah. Here at the Philly Union games, none of that in the press box, and it's a really small press box too. But you're not supposed to do that.
No, yeah, at the Red Bull ones. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be jumping up and down, but
it'll be very subtle fist pumps underneath the desk.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a very nice press box. You're outside, right behind the benches.
What if it's raining?
Well, what's great about that stadium is that it has overhangs.
Oh, okay.
That cover all the stands. So when it rains, it really only rains in the field.
Where it should rain.
Yes.
Oh, that is good to know. So and then Juan Uribe joins us from Long Beach. Juan, are you?
I thought he dropped.
Oh, he dropped. I guess I didn't get a chance to. So now I feel bad because I know I saw him on there, but I was trying to find a spot to work you guys in. Now. Rigo, do you anticipate a clásico coming up in the Conca Champions?
I don't know, and I don't know because I don't know how serious America has taken it.
Wow.
And if America doesn't take it serious, then Toronto could upset them. I only say that because America has cruised the first two rounds.
This is where Ronnie tells us that America is obligated to win everything. So everything's
they
a priority.
are, but if they don't start their starting lineup because they want to.
Yeah, but it's not like they've been playing the reserves. I mean, it's been mostly starters. I mean, even yesterday in Panama, it was.
Yeah, but isn't like Martin reserve? Not reserve, but a bench player.
No, he is. No, he is. So is Darwin is definitely a bench player.
I mean, they have enough for two lineups, essentially, or a lineup and a half, so they could do it. But field the wrong lineup against Toronto.
So, but you think America has the bigger chance to not go on compared to Chivas?
Yes, because they're playing a better team. Also, I'm more scared of Toronto and Red Bulls than I am of America. Just because of... I'm not feeling it. I mean, you saw what happened at Estadio Akron. Like, they couldn't beat us, and they have a much more talented team. And we were depleted on defense. So like, I'm much more scared. The thing about Toronto is like.
Go ahead, Ron.
The thing about Toronto is that Javinko and a free kick like that's not that wasn't like a one-time thing against Tigres. He does it all the time, and he could.
Yeah, but it wasn't even a golazo. That was on Noel.
But that was upper 90. So let's say Noel is positioned well. I don't even know if he gets that. It was upper 90.
He pinned the ball against the. He didn't even dive, and he was able to pin the ball to the post. But he got in there.
Javinko
had he attacked the ball, had he gotten there, like, I mean, I just think like you should if you're able to hit the ball standing, you should be able to take it out, keep it out.
It was an assault for sure. There's no doubt. That was
not taking anything from Javinko. I know you're right. Like he is a good like he is good at free kicks, kicker. But I mean,
you got a little help on that one.
Yeah.
So this goes to Joel.
A hockey assist.
Yeah, this goes to Joel and Rigo. Would you rather take, like, assuming, like, let's say America face off both in the Conca Champions and in the league, and you can only win one of them, which one would you rather have?
Wait, in the league for the final?
Yeah, like no, I'm saying, like, let's say that America and Chivas face each other in the league final, Liga MX, and they face each other in the Conca Champions. You can only win. What's that?
Liga MX.
What about you, Juan?
No, man, I would go with the cup.
The Conca Champions?
Yes.
Me too, Joel.
That'd be their first one since what, 1932, Joel? Is that right?
19. Ouch. Yeah, we're the Atlas of the top 5 when it comes to international tournaments. 59 or something like that. 60.
There's like 62.
Yeah,
they've never won the CONCACAF, huh?
They have.
They did, but I think it's because the other team forfeited or something.
No, I know the rec. I know the thing. The other. Okay, so they had already won it, and then I think it was the following year they made the final. So they were playing a team from Haiti, and the team couldn't get their visas. So they ended up giving Chivas the win.
Primero que nada, hay que felicitar a Chivas porque ganaron bien.
And so then Chivas leaves because back then they would do like their Euro tours and stuff like that.
Pentagonales and hexagonales.
Yeah, and so they left the country, and the Haitian team, they get their visas and they're like, okay, we can play now. And Chivas wasn't around, so CONCACAF was like, okay, well, you guys have the cup now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what happened.
Chivas, don't make me laugh.
So you'd rather have the cup, and then Rodrigo would rather have the league.
Correct.
You scared to go up against the champion from Japan
for
or
third
China?
place? For third place.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Bring on the Koreans and the Egyptians, man.
See, I don't want to celebrate too early, man, because I mean, like I said, America still has to play against Toronto, and Chivas still has to play against.
Come on, man. Come on, dude.
Don't laugh because.
Come on, man.
Like couple, what was it, about 3-4 years back, there was this very strong possibility of Barcelona and Real Madrid facing in the final of the
Champions
League, and both teams just lost, in the semifinals, and they should have won those matches.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like,
yeah, dude, but America's winning this, dude. Come on.
Look,
come on.
If Jack Warner and Chuck Blazer were still around, yeah, take it to the bank. I mean, the only team that beats America is going to be Chivas. What's that?
The only team that's going to beat America is going to be Chivas if it happens.
So are you saying that the Canadian dude, he's gonna want the CONCACAF between Chivas?
I'm saying this is America's to lose.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They're clear.
I mean, also I've been watching. Red Bull's been playing really well. I've been following them now for a couple of weeks. They've been playing really well. I'm surprised.
It's not going to be easy for Chivas to beat.
No, it's
to beat Red Bulls at all.
It's not going to be easy at all.
I think
because they play the counter game very well. They also play the possession game very well. It's a much more younger team and more versatile than teams of the past.
Is your Chivas team capable of just putting in simple goals, or is it just like
golazos?
Yeah.
Or nothing. Puro golazos, man.
It's puro golazo over here.
This team is fresa when it comes to goles.
Which was your guys' favorite? Of the three from last night, because I was kind of just mouth was open, just.
I'm gonna call it the trophy chaser one.
Yeah, the trophies one.
Yeah, that was my favorite too. But I mean, the finish on the third was.
I'll tell you what it was. Then it was.
when Trophies jumps to head it, I felt for a bit he wasn't gonna reach it.
You thought
it was going to mess it up?
That he jumped too early?
He wasn't tall enough.
I thought he jumped too early, but I think he felt him, and he's like, I got to jump now.
Even with an open net, Joel, your self-love knows no bounds.
He's got pretty good hops, though. You guys
yeah, he does.
He gave the tall defender a black eye when they both jumped up. I was like, what the hell?
Sergio brings up Brode.
Oh.
That's funny.
You know what? I did think that it did kind of pop into my head too, like when he started describing the way that CONCACAF went down. Like, maybe they shouldn't be yelling too loud about that.
So that's the only one they won, Joel, was that because the Haitians
No.
Didn't have visas.
That was the second. They won the first one, and this would have been their big campeonato, and they took it away from them.
It never dawned on me to call that one brother.
You know what? The Champions Cup, the brother?
Yeah, the one that you guys won. Brother.
What?
That's a good one, Serge.
It was similar, man. I can't blame that.
All right, so I'm assuming. I mean, I'm going to ask. I was hoping. I'm assuming, Rodrigo, that you're expecting a Clásico then, or do you think that there's a chance that an MLS team might squeeze through?
I think it's on either side. There's a chance an MLS squeeze through.
So in your mind, a Clásico is not guaranteed.
I don't think it's guaranteed, but no.
All right.
Who's washing dishes or in your car? Turn off the wipers. Did we lose Ron? No, it's not Ron.
No,
I'm pretty sure it's
Joel.
Joel. I'm pretty sure it's Joel.
Joel, apaga el parabrisas.
Their Joel has turned off. So Chivas has they have Tigres coming up this weekend.
You guys think Tigres will be in full revenge mode? They lost to an MLS side.
Yeah, that is. Well, they just got knocked out of the tournament, and America has Toluca. Oh, Ron, your favorite, Toluca.
Where?
What is it? Toluca. No, both their next two games are in Azteca. I think they play Toluca, and I think they play Cruz Azul. If I'm not mistaken.
Right. Well, it's Toluca here, and the next week it's going to be Cruz Azul at home. So those are probably two of America's most important games of the year, back to back at home. You're not a Toluca fan, are you, Ron? In fact, I mean, in being on this podcast, I have detected some. You don't like the chorizo. You just no.
That's the first I hear of this.
Yeah, no. You seem like you have a strict no diablos policy. If the game comes on,
it's just that. It's like with Pachuca. It's like know your place. You know what I mean?
I knew it. I knew he was going to say this. Go on. Don't let me interrupt you.
Cada quien en su sitio, por favor. I know Beto would laugh at that one. No, it's like, okay, you're doing things good. And, I'm happy for you, but don't say that you're one of the greats, or one of the best.
Have they?
These guys have gone on droughts too.
No. I'm saying, like, do they claim to be?
Oh yeah, especially when Lebrica was there. Especially when Lebrica.
Well, they did win a pile of titles at the turn of the century, and have come close to.
So they have 10,
breaching the Chivas America juggernaut on the top. But a lot of those were short season titles, so
yeah,
a lot of fans don't seem to want to count those in other teams' championship wins, but are perfectly fine to count the ones that they have on their side.
Yes, I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, just
it's like you can't punish the team for playing with the rules that are set in front of them.
Exactly. And Santos,
they're another one. They're like right there. They're quietly, I think, behind Toluca and Pachuca as far as like the newcomers that have enjoyed considerable success.
They play Puebla away. Now that's been a tough place. As Juan has pointed out, Puebla plays very very well at home, and then Pumas. Who are they? I think they have
unlike Ronnie, though, I don't have a particular disdain or fear of the camote, so I'm good at that in that respect.
All right. So
you embrace it.
I can. Like, why not?
So Rigo, I found out
when in Puebla.
There used to be a joke when I was a kid. The Pope went to Mexico when I was a kid, and apparently in Puebla they like to eat torta de papa. So that's why the Pope didn't want to go to Puebla, porque comen torta de papa.
But for talking about camote power, they're their 5 home games, they've won 4 and tied 1.
So, Joel, are you and I still on our Puebla Por qué no campaign, or do we have to hold off a few weeks still?
No, that's, you know, the Ojitos thing is I'm a big fan because of Ojitos Mesa. I would like to see him get one last title
before he retires.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age.
That'd be pretty amazing.
And then just to see how the club, you know, I was hearing some comments from I think they're under new management, and they were saying how they had been scouting and just doing all this work to help the club out, and it's paying off. So it's always good to see that, where they're meticulous about how they build a team and not just try to do it in during the mercado de piernas, try to get 2 or 3 key signings.
Yeah, well, Puebla was one of those teams that gets like 20 signings in the mercado de piernas. They always change their roster over for year after year. I have for years.
Yeah, hoping that 2 or 3 are going to be pretty good. But this time they did a good job of just building the squad and getting the right coach.
And they play in the funkiest stadium in Liga MX. It looks like they're playing inside like a sauna.
Inside the shower curtain?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is, a shower curtain. All right, well, I think we probably got to pick a good spot to wrap up the old show here. So I do want to thank everybody for listening, and folks that participated. Oh, wait.
We almost forgot something, John.
We have a last-minute request. What is that, Joel?
Well, I mean, I got cut off, so I don't know if you guys talked about, but the Campeones Cup.
No, that is actually a very good topic to end on. So you're right, Joel. How could I have forgotten?
Right.
Now, which campeón is going to play in the Campeones Cup? The one who wins
Tigres.
the
Tigres is
Apertura?
already set to play
So is it the so why is Tigres playing in it? Did they win the Campeón de Campeones?
No, I had posted the explanation on the Cantina Twitter feed.
Please explain it to the rest of us who didn't read that.
Oh, well, let me bring it up because.
Oh, I thought you had it memorized.
Well, anyway, so as Joel does, they announced a partnership between MLS and Liga MX, where the champions from each tournament, from each league, are going to play each other in the champion or campeone. I'm sorry, the Campeones Cup. The Campeones Cup.
When is this held?
It's going to be in September. September 19th.
So right after MLS Cup or something?
Well, it's supposed to be the champion of the previous MLS team, which is going to be Toronto, and the winner of the Campeón de Campeones of Liga MX. So whoever wins, whoever wins
the Campeón de Campeones, right,
will face Toronto in BMO Fields, Toronto. Which that to me, right off the bat.
So that'll be with either Tigres or whoever wins this tournament.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ron got it correct. Ron got it correct, and
why are they playing that in Toronto?
Because it's almost like a continental Super Bowl. Said MLS Commissioner Don Garber. So I think that's one of the things where they're gonna host it in a saucy city and then hope people travel to it.
Well, they're going to play the one next year in the Mexican champion city. Because I mean that would be totally. I mean, do a home and home. I get, or do a 2-legged thing.
Either do a 2-legged thing, like you said, John, or have a specified like a city that ahead of time. Because right now, the way it looks like Toronto playing at home, it's like that league. It's like that other tournament that they used to have. What was
it's like they're trying to create a competition.
Superliga, you mean?
Yes, it was a Superliga. No, was it Superliga?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Well, it's obviously
worse,
the first step in what has been, and I didn't realize this was even rumored. I just talked about it thinking it would be kind of a cool thing to do. the interleague cup tournament, which I think will happen. I think that it'll be it will replace one of the Copa MX, one of the Copa MXs.
So, when are they going to start setting up the Campeón de las Américas?
Oh, they used to play that. What was the name of that one, Ron?
Interamericana? Is that the
Yeah.
one that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the winner. No, the winner didn't, because there was the Intercontinental with which was.
But
But for years the Intercontinental was just between South America and
Europe.
and Europe.
The Interamericana was between CONCACAF and South America.
Right.
But I mean, that seems like everybody likes to make money. That sounds like that'd be fun to watch in lieu of or lack of a Libertadores, and at least we'll get to see the champions of the region, the best Mexican team, play the Libertadores champion.
Now before we go, in all honesty, I think that this is just as long as they make it fair and equitable, I'm totally fine with with this. Just just don't always play it in the States. That's my also wish. But I do think that we should mention before we go here tonight that and then in the coming weeks we are going to have an opportunity to give away a Samsung Galaxy S8 Active smartphone, and we're going to have to figure out some sort of contest for us to give this away. And I thought about a trivia contest because I know we have a lot of savvy listeners, and I'm not sure if that's what we're going to do, but we are going to do something in order to give this particular item away. And this is a partnership that we have through Sprint. A friend of mine has helped set it up, and so we do thank the folks at Sprint for providing that for us and providing it for y'all, our listeners. But I do have one trivia question that I wanted to test y'all's knowledge. Who was the last Mexican player to get red carded in a World Cup game?
I'm going to say Rafa.
Joel? Well, while Joel is thinking, Ron, any thoughts?
I had muted myself, John, but I'm drawing a blank here.
Ron?
Rafa?
All of y'all say Rafa, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe
there's someone after him.
The correct answer is Luis Ernesto Perez.
Jesus. When did that happen?
In the Portugal game in 2006.
Doesn't Rafa get a red card for the
handball?
Penalty?
No, he got a yellow card for the penalty in that game. But it was Luis Ernesto Perez who got a red card in that game.
I actually didn't go to that match.
Yeah, he was the last. He was the last one. So it might be something like that. You didn't get to go to the Portugal match. Oh,
no,
was that the same day of the
Argentina Netherlands?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That's like that.
I was at that match.
Which one?
Mexico Portugal.
I
was there with Martin, with our good friend Martin del Palacio.
I figured that Mexico would have already been qualified. After the first two matches, Iran and Angola. So when I set up for my media tickets, I said, "Nah, Mexico has this one in the bag." So I said, "You know what? I'd rather watch Argentina than Netherlands," which was a boring game. I expected a lot more.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Because both of those teams had been qualified, so they didn't have anything to play for.
Yeah, I picked the wrong horse.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, so it'd be something like that. But we will come up with something. So y'all, we'll be sure to plaster it all over social media. But I think it's kind of cool that we're getting this opportunity to give something away here on the show, here on the CantinaMX podcast. So please stay tuned for that. We do appreciate y'all listening, and we do appreciate y'all listening to this episode 127. I believe I called it Chivas al Rescate para salvar la cara de la Liga in their midweek tussles with the league up north, La Liga del Norte. But they did pull through. But anyway, we do want to thank y'all for joining us. Ron, thanks for hopping on as always.
Yep.
And Daniel Preciado, congratulations and continued good luck with your amazing Santos season.
Whoop whoop.
And Arrigo, are we going to have to put an ankle bracelet on you? Make sure that you don't do anything untoward with Chofis.
Talk about me?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Yeah. No, I should be okay.
All right.
I will restrain and compose myself, unlike that day in Estadio Akron.
I understand. So, what's the nickname for the Estadio Coron now that it's like an oil slick? Do they have a nickname for it?
Home of los lubricantes. Nah, I haven't heard any nickname.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Well, we do thank you for coming on, and I know that you're looking forward to getting a chance to see Chivas without having to travel 9 hours to see it. So
yes,
congratulations!
Excited for that.
Joel, are you gonna make the big home opener for LAFC?
I'm not even sure yet, John. And I'm still thinking about on the 31st. It's Galaxy versus LAFC and Carson.
Right.
So I would like to see the Duelo de Mexicanos right there.
Well, one of the Mexicanos is going to be out. Giovanni has already injured himself.
Yeah, man. So I don't know yet. I haven't applied.
Well, you'll have to keep us abreast of that as well. But we do want to thank y'all for listening here on the CantinaMX podcast. We're on every Thursdays live on the YouTube. And, of course, you can listen to this and our previous editions. You can download from the Podcast Center on iTunes as well as from Google Play. My name is John Jagu. For everybody here on the podcast show, Ron de Luna, Daniel Preciado, Rigo Ayala, Joel Aceves, Juan Uribe, who joined but I didn't get a chance to bring him on, as well as Alberto Chiquiscampa, who is traveling in Europe. I want to say thank you all very much, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Good night, guys.
Good night, Ron.